When raising children, you know that one of the kids' favorite words is no. And you hear this hundreds and thousands of times. Well, today we're going to learn the word no in Hebrew, which is lo. In English, the word no can serve in different ways. The first way is you can simply negate a noun. For example, the desert has no water. Here, you can see that the negative is functioning to talk about the lack of the noun water. But another way that no can be used, or a similar word not, is an adverbial sense of modifying a verb. In the sentence, they don't or do not go to school on Wednesday afternoons, you can see that do not, or the not, is modifying the verb do. The Hebrew negation lo functions in similar ways. So let's first of all see how it can negate verbs. In this instance, you might translate lo as did not, do not, or the similar ways. In the sentence, ve anoki lo eheye, keachat shifchotecha. I am not like one of your maidservants. Ruth chapter 2. You can see that lo is modifying the eheye, I am, which immediately follows this. Remember that sequence. When lo is modifying the verb, it usually precedes the verb in this way. Another important way that lo appears is when it is used in negative commands. Don't do something. Here, it follows the same sequence. Lo will precede a verb, but the verb that follows is going to be in the imperfect tense. Let me give you an example. Lo ta'aseh means do not make for yourselves an idol or any likeness of anything. This form of lo serving in a negative command is the key formula that you see in the Ten Commandments that says, thou shalt not. It's a negative command. Lo can also serve to introduce these negative verbless clauses or prepositional phrases. In this example, lo be he. There are actually no verbs in the sentence. It's a verbless clause. But it's still, by saying no, it's making a statement. So it is not in me. So you just kind of provide a to be verb in these examples. It is not in me. Job chapter 28, verse 14. Let me give you an example of one of the most famous way the word lo is used in the Old Testament. And this is from Genesis chapter 2. Ume'etz hada'at tov varav, lo tochal mimenu, mot tamut. And from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat from it, or you will surely die. Here you can see that God's instruction is made using the negative command, combining the negative particle lo and an imperfect verb tochal. You will not eat. Literally, you shall not eat. This combination of, remember, lo, negation plus an imperfect verb, is used to make strong, permanent negative commands. Let's look at how the negative command, however, is repeated by the serpent in chapter 3. The serpent says, lo tochlu michkol etz hagan. Y'all, you all, shall not eat from any tree of the garden. Is this what God said? Is what the serpent asked. You can see some minor changes here. You can see that it's the same verb akal, to eat, but when God said it, it was in the singular, and now when the serpent is saying it, it's in the plural form. And you can also see that according to the serpent, the question is it from any tree of the garden? Whereas when the Lord spoke, it was specifically referring to the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The woman, in replying the serpent, answers as follows. Amar Elohim lo tochlu mimenu, velo tigu bo pen temutum. God said, y'all shall not eat from it, and y'all shall not touch it, lest y'all will die. Here there are a few things to note. It seems like the woman is affirming that the command and the consequence included her. She knew that the command that God spoke in the singular included not simply the man, but also herself. In that the woman also adds this description that, she shouldn't even touch the tree. And here is when things get really interesting. What the serpent says. The serpent answers as follows. Lo mot temutun. Y'all certainly will not die. Here's a table showing those 4 statements of when God initially gives the prohibition, when the serpent questions it, when the woman gives a reply, and then the serpent's reply. You can see that all of them uses the prohibition lo, followed by a verb. But one thing that you'll notice is that the point of discussion has shifted throughout this discussion. At the beginning, the question was, are you sure that God told you not to eat? Focusing on the action of not eating, which God explicitly commanded you should not do. But by the end of the discussion, you can see that what the serpent does is the serpent turns away the people's attention from the prohibition of eating to questioning one aspect that God warned. You will surely die. The serpent's concluding statement is that y'all will surely not die, going directly against what God has said. What's interesting in this passage is that God prohibits the man and woman from eating the fruit of the tree. The serpent does not deny God's prohibition. Instead, what the serpent does is shifts the emphasis to the consequence and negates God's warning. You can see how the serpent truly is the most cunning of all creatures, because the serpent, when attacking people, may not always directly go against what God said, because clearly here the woman knows God's word and knows to follow God's instruction to not eat of it. What the serpent does is tell lies and directly contradict God's word in warning. You will not die, by adding the negative lo to God's statement.